Welcome back. In this video we will talk about joints in Fusion 360. You will see I am in my joints file, and I have hidden all of the components except for rigid 1. When I am in the model workspace and go to assemble, I see a tool called joint. When I click joint, I can see that there are multiple types of joints. We will go through these types of joints in this video. When applying a joint, you need to select two components. Joints can only be applied between components and not bodies. The first component that you select will always be the component that moves. And you can see as I hover over this cylinder, there are multiple joint origins that it is giving me to select. I will select either the edge of the top circular face or the center to grab the center of this face. Next, it is prompting me to select the second component, so I will do the same on this cube. I will find the center and click. Fusion 360 will animate the parts together and will show you what type of joint you are using. I can hit animate here to start a continuous animation of the joint type. Because this is a rigid joint, or stuck together, the parts do not move in relation to one another. Joints are different than mates or constraints found in other softwares in that they limit a direction of mobility one at a time, and a joint limits all directions of mobility except for one or two specific degrees of freedom. When I hit OK, you will see that now when I drag my components, they are rigidly stuck together. The next joint is Revolute, and I can hit the joint icon here in my workspace toolbar. I will first select this component, and I will hold Control to snap to the major points on this face. I will click, and again I will select this point here. I will change this type to Revolute, and you will see a Revolute animation appear. Again, I can hit Animate to continue the animation. I can also drag these sliders to set offsets and type in distances. At any time I can select the joint, right-click, Animate Joint, and hit Escape to stop. Next is the slider joint. I will go Joint, and I will select this face in the center, and then this face in the center. Again, I will change my joint type to slider, and you will notice that it is automatically guessed that my slider will go in the Z direction. I would like to change this to the Y-axis so that it slides along my part. I will hit OK. Next is cylindrical. I will select this component and then this component. And notice again, I will need to change my axis. The cylindrical joint allows a part to rotate around, but also slide along the part. Next is the pin slot, similar to the cylindrical joint, except for it will rotate and it will slide in the perpendicular direction. I will select this circular face, and I will select the inside face of my part. Notice that my part is free to rotate and slide along this joint. Next is the planar joint. The planar joint locks a face to another face, but still allows the part to slide. And next is the ball joint. The ball joint is used in sockets and other assembly techniques. The ball joint rotates over two center points. I am using two spheres here, but you do not need to use spheres for a ball joint. Next is not a joint, but it is helpful when assembling joints. If I go to Assemble, Joint Origin, this will allow me to place a simple joint origin anywhere on a face or on any geometry, or between two faces. I would like this arm to float in between these two faces until I draw my pin. So I will select this face first, this face second, and I will place my joint origin on the center point of this hole. I don't want to move it or rotate it, so I will hit OK. And I will do the same here. Assemble, Joint Origin, change this to between two faces, this face, and then the center of my cylinder. I will hit OK. And now when I apply a joint, I will select Revolute. I can select my joint origin, and it will animate any components that it is hosted to. I will hit OK. And now you will see that my joint is animating around the center of my part. Last is Rigid Group, and you will see that I have built a little box here in my model. These components, however, are not grouped together. I could set individual rigid joints between them, or I could go Assemble, Rigid Group. A rigid group will allow you to select as many components as you would like, and it will place them in a rigid group. I will hit OK, and now you can see my box parts now move as one connected piece. I will see you in the next video.